We've got a ton of new details on today's breaking and developing news story that Monday Night Raw is headed to Netflix beginning in January of 2025. We've got an update on if Raw is going to continue to be airing on Monday nights. We've also got an update on if there are going to be commercials. We've also got an update on how much WWE is being paid by the streaming giants and how long the contract is going to be for. We've also got an update on The Rock as Dwayne Johnson has been added to the TKO board of directors. He has commented on his addition to becoming a board of director member with the company. He's also commented on the possibility of facing off against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania this year or next year. Also, today there have been rumors that Kazuchika Okada has decided to join WWE over AEW. Are the rumors premature? We'll let you know. Speaking of television rights, today's been a big day for TV rights for WWE, but what does that mean for AEW? Well, we've also got an update on AEW's television rights negotiations, particularly with Warner Brothers Discovery. Finn Balor is one half of the Undisputed Tag Team Champions, but his contract reportedly is up after WrestleMania and he's yet to put pen to paper on a new deal. Plus, more details on Kevin Patrick's departure from the SmackDown commentary team. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's get straight into the biggest story of the day. That is that Raw is coming to Netflix. Yes, for the first time in 31 years since its existence, Monday Night Raw is leaving linear television and heading to a streaming platform. We covered the news earlier today when it just broke, about 15 minutes after it broke. We've got so many more details about what's going to happen when Monday Night Raw moves from USA Network to Netflix beginning in January of 2025. Now, Netflix will begin airing WWE Raw in January 2025. TKO and Netflix announced today. Netflix will also begin airing all WWE programming, including Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and premium live events in the UK, Canada, Latin America, and other regions. Essentially, what we're looking at outside of the United States is kind of what the deal is inside of the United States when it comes to Peacock and WWE's relationship. So instead, for example, over here in the UK, instead of having a situation where you'll have Raw, SmackDown, and NXT be airing on TNT Sports and then have the WWE Network for the premium live events, what you're going to have is Raw, SmackDown, NXT, the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, any kind of premium live event you can think of. The WWE Network is going to be moving to Netflix in addition to Raw, SmackDown, and NXT over here in the UK and internationally beginning in January 2025. Of course, inside of the United States, Raw is going to be the exclusive place for Netflix is going to be the exclusive play for Monday Night Raw. As far as the relationship and deal they currently have with Peacock, we're going to have to wait and see. Now, except for in the US and Saudi Arabia, this will include all territories except for the US and Saudi, as those deals in those regions expire. Of course, maybe that might change once the deal with Peacock expires in the US. This includes WWE's number 2 media rights market behind the US, India, where the rights are currently held by Sony. Now, the deal between WWE and Netflix is a 10-year agreement worth $5 billion throughout the deal, according to a TKO filing with the Securities and Exchange Commissions today, which implies an average annual value of $500 million per year. WWE's current US deal for Raw with NBC Universal is worth an average annual value of $265 million per year. So again, they've nearly doubled their rights fees for that. Now, WrestleNomics, Brandon Thurston says it's not clear to him what the total value of the international rights this deal will supersede. Therefore, it's not obvious to him whether this deal represents an increase or a decrease in the media rights value over there. Now, the deal allows Netflix to opt out of the contract after just 5 years. The streamer also has the option to extend the deal for an additional 10 years, meaning if Netflix chooses, this could be a 20-year deal. Now, Sports Business Journal reported Netflix COO Bella Bajara led the talks for her side, negotiating with TKO CEO Ari Emanuel, TKO COO Mark Shapiro, WWE President Nick Khan, and TKO CFO Andrew Schleimer. Now, TKO shares were up today. We'll talk about that in just a second. But what's really significant about this, of course, is the reach that Netflix provides WWE. Netflix is easily the most popular subscription streaming service in the United States, with 77.3 million subscribers between the US and Canada as of their last earnings reports, and get this number, 247 million users worldwide. Yes, 247 million subscribers worldwide. It's possible that events like WrestleMania, like SummerSlam, like the Royal Rumble, and Monday Night Raw on a weekly basis could be available for 247 million people worldwide. Now, Netflix doesn't disclose a straightforward number of US subscribers. If subscriptions between the US and Canada are distributed equally relative to their national populations, that would mean that there are 69 million Netflix subscribers in the US, a number that's nearly crossing paths with the roughly 70 million households in the US that have some form of traditional cable television, including cable, satellite, and yes, Hulu Live TV, YouTube TV, Sling, Fubo, etc. Nevertheless, the exposure is absolutely massive for WWE. Now, Ari Emanuel, the TKO CEO, has commented on Monday Night Raw, moving to Netflix. Of course, the deal was announced today. Appearing on CNBC, Ari Emanuel commented on the deal, saying, quote, "All I can say is that we are in line with the market expectations and where our next step would be. The only other thing I would say is it's Netflix. They're the global leader. They're the best company with regard to sports entertainment, whether they've done it with Formula One or Tour de France. This is the next iteration as they go live and moving into live. This is an important step for them in their SVOD and subscription service, and live is important for them," he said. "The word Netflix is important for this. 10-year deal with Raw, it's a big deal." Now, when asked about Netflix going to live sports, Ari said, quote, "We just saw 2 weekends ago on Peacock how big football played, 27 million people. I don't think linear is going away. I don't think cable is going away, but there is a push to streaming. On this deal, we did that early on with the UFC on ESPN and ESPN Plus. From our perspective, this is the next iteration of where this goes. We have a linear play with SmackDown and NXT. This is the streaming play. For us, it was the next step. It's a great deal for Netflix, in our opinion. They get 150 hours of programming, over $5 billion. It's like 2.5 movies for 150. For us, it's the global player in streaming. It's a great deal." So Ari Emanuel is certainly very, very, very happy with that. As I mentioned, when it comes to the TKO stock, well, obviously, it's been a big day for TKO. Not only Raw going to Netflix, but also Dwayne Johnson being added to the board of directors. And as you can see, the TKO stock has risen significantly. The TKO shares are up nearly 20% to $95 as the market was opening following the news of the WWE Netflix deal. Have probably continued to rise throughout the day. Now, some people have wondered, with the move to Netflix, does this mean that Raw is going to be moving away from Monday nights? Appearing on the Pat McAfee show, Nick Khan was asked if WWE Raw would remain on Monday nights when the show moves to Netflix next year. He said, quote, "At this moment in time, it remains Monday Night Raw. Keep in mind, we have 10.5 months until this deal is up and running. We're looking at what you're looking at and what everyone else is looking at. You have a proliferation of gambling with Monday Night Football. You have an enhanced Disney package, better games. You have the Manning cast. This year, it was ABC and ESPN. Last season, the playoff game they got was Tom Brady at the Cowboys. You also have the college national championships, football and hoops on Monday. You have a lot of Mondays where there is stiff competition. That said, even against Alabama, Michigan and Washington, Texas game a few weeks ago, Monday Night Raw did a 0.6 in the 18 to 49 demographic, which is a massive rating against big competition. If we stay on Mondays, it will work. If we move to a different day, we think it will work too." So, certainly, Nick Khan says for now, they're going to be sticking on Monday nights, but certainly anything could change, and really, it depends on competition too. Now, a lot of people have wondered about Netflix and commercials. What would it mean when it comes to Monday Night Raw? Would Raw become commercial-free, or would there still be ad breaks? How would this work? Now, it's pretty good news for Netflix subscribers, because with Raw moving to Netflix in January 2025, those who subscribe to Netflix without ads won't get ads during typical commercial breaks. Now, this report comes from Alex Sherman of CNBC, who has said, quote, "New detail from the Netflix Raw deal. For Netflix subs who don't get ads, the vast majority of you, Raw matches will be scripted around commercial breaks. So you'll get some non-important match action, such as sustained headlocks instead of commercials. You won't get ads. So that's a pretty significant part there. Now, Raw often does picture-in-picture when matches go to commercials, and it could be a similar situation to how, for instance, if you watch AEW on Fight TV, it's now Triller TV, where they go to commercial, but the action continues and commentary carries on going. It could be a similar situation to that, and occasionally you get what is a commercial. It's not an actual commercial, it's just a play of sort of the screens, the graphics that are going on for that AEW programming, but it could be a similar situation to that. So once again, if you've got any situation whereby you subscribe to this, Netflix, and it's commercial free, you're going to continue to have a commercial free experience, which lots of people are very happy about as well. So what are your thoughts about this? What are your thoughts on, again, $5 billion over 10 years, a deal that could actually last up to 20 years, a 20-year deal? This could actually come up. Yes, we're talking that the deal could actually come up in January of 2065 is kind of nuts, isn't it? Let me know your thoughts, your reaction to all of it in the comments section below. Now, again, it was a massive news day for WWE and TKO. Not only will Raw go to Netflix, but also WWE legend Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has now been named as a member of the board of directors for TKO Group Holdings. Now, not only did Dwayne Johnson join the TKO board of directors, but he also gained full rights to the name The Rock. Now, he was asked about this today on the Squawk on the Street program, and he said, quote, "There is a business side to that, as we know. There is an economic side of that, but it goes much deeper than that. This idea, the name The Rock, for me, I owe that name everything. Without that name, there would be no wrestling career, no Hollywood career. Also, that name was a derivative of my dad, Rocky Johnson, who was the first black tag team champion in WWE. Trailblazer, paved the way. Man of color, for a kid like me to be embraced in a bigger way when I came along. This is one of the reasons why this deal is so unprecedented. The one I was able to do and cut with Ari here. Again, I want to acknowledge Ari and give him his flowers. At the end of the day, he had a million reasons to say no, but he found a reason to say yes. The reason why is he understood, as he told me face to face, this is your name and it comes from your family. That's important to me. Family is very important to us, and the name The Rock, this is why it became invaluable. The street valuation of the name The Rock, it has some heft behind it. More importantly than that, it's something I've earned, built, and I owe so much to that wild lunatic called The Rock. That, by the way, the greatest benefit of now completely owning the name The Rock, no gimmicks, no BS, across the board, full ownership, is the name The Rock years ago really allowed me to be me. That's very special." Now, Rock was also with all of his new TKO board of directors and colleagues today to ring the bell on Wall Street. As you can see right there, you can see him alongside the likes of WWE President Nick Khan. You can also see Triple H, Paul Levesque, WWE's Chief Content Officer there. Of course, Ari Emanuel, the TKO CEO, was also in attendance. Also, you can see standing to the Rock's right was Vince McMahon. Yes, the TKO Executive Chairman of the Board of Directors that Dwayne Johnson now sits on. Interestingly enough, if you spot him right there, Vince McMahon is now without the mustache. Maybe the biggest news of the day is Vince McMahon is now without the mustache. Nevertheless, The Rock had been doing the rounds when it came to the media today, and one of the biggest questions he was asked, not only about getting the ownership of the Rock name and being added to the TKO board of directors, was, are you going to be facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania this year, next year? Is it going to happen? And The Rock has commented on possibly facing his cousin on the grandest stage of them all. Now, when The Rock returned to WWE television at Raw Day 1, he made plenty of headlines when he asked if he should sit at the head of the table, a reference to a possible showdown with Roman Reigns. Appearing on ESPN First Take, The Rock commented on possibly facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. He said, quote, "I'm a long gamer. I like to build. Something like this, what this is, if myself and Roman Reigns were to main event WrestleMania, and I mean this very respectfully of all the WrestleManias prior because I grew up in this business and I love it, we could possibly put on, with us as the main event and this incredible group of men and women, we could possibly put on the greatest and biggest WrestleMania of all time." When one of the hosts mentioned that there was a chance, The Rock commented, quote, "There's a chance. I love this business. I love pro wrestling. I love WWE. I also have this deep passion to grow it and build it. If we're going to do something like this, I want the world to watch." Now, some have speculated that that could mean maybe not this year, it could be next year, because of course next year WrestleMania will be available internationally on Netflix and domestically available on Peacock as well. So there is the possibility of hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of millions of people to watch a WrestleMania main event between Roman Reigns and The Rock. So some are speculating that indeed that could be the case for next year. What are your thoughts on The Rock being named on the board of directors? What are your thoughts on The Rock's comments about owning his name? And what are your thoughts about The Rock possibly facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? Now, mixed up in all of the news today was a report from Japan suggesting that Kazuchika Okada, now that he is departing or set to depart New Japan Pro Wrestling, was likely to be headed to WWE. Now, this report came from Monthly Pro Rest that was talking about Okada's final days in New Japan Pro Wrestling and things of that nature. And he was talking about his final matches, defending the Never Six-Man Tag Team Championships, etc. But what was really interesting, got a lot of people talking, was a paragraph at the end of this report from Monthly Pro Rest that say, quote, although we're unable to verify with the Rainmaker himself, one source close to New Japan Pro Wrestling's top talent has indicated to Monthly Pro Rest that it appears Okada is WWE bound, potentially starting in NXT first. Now, given the fact that this is a Japanese outlet with strong sources in New Japan Pro Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling stars, many thought it was concrete information that the Rainmaker indeed had chosen WWE over AEW. However, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select has provided a new report that kind of pushes back on that a little bit, saying that rumors are flying around about Kazuchika Okada and they're very premature. Today, rumors emerged that Okada would be headed to WWE and possibly appearing on the NXT brand first, citing sources from New Japan Pro Wrestling. However, Fightful sources close to New Japan said that is not the situation as they know it, at least as of right now. It was reiterated that Okada seems early in his process. One WWE higher-up said, quote, that would be news to us at this point, end quote. And multiple sources on the NXT staff said they've heard nothing of that sort at this point. In addition, numerous people that Fightful has talked to within AEW believe they're very much in the running to land Kazuchika Okada. So to reiterate, anything could happen between now and the time that Okada makes his decision as to where he wants to go, but Fightful have been told by sources connected to Okada, AEW and WWE that all of the speculation today seems premature, and as of right now he is still weighing up his options. Now, let's talk about AEW because, of course, with the talk that Raw is heading to Netflix, many people wondered, well, what does this mean for AEW, considering that Monday Night Raw was linked possibly to be headed to Warner Bros. Discovery next year, possibly going on TNT and TBS, and that would essentially kick AEW off the network. Now, WWE wasn't the only promotion to receive some good news today, as AEW possibly should feel more confident in renewing its television deal with Warner Bros. Discovery. Now, as I mentioned, this comes on the back of all of the TV deals now being done for WWE programming, whether it's Raw on Netflix, NXT on the CW, or SmackDown going to USA Network. Now, since its launch in 2019, AEW has had the same television partner in the United States, that being Warner Bros. Discovery. AEW currently airs its programming on TBS and TNT. Now, as has been previously reported, AEW and Warner Bros. Discovery are in advanced talks to extend their television rights deal, and AEW's agreement expires at the end of 2024. Now, a few months ago, there was some concern, as I mentioned, about AEW's future with a broadcast partner after WWE had two meetings with Warner Bros. Discovery about possibly airing Raw on TNT or TBS, which would have required All Elite Wrestling to find a new television home. Well, today, Andrew Zarian of the Mat Men podcast has reported that a source mentioned to him that it is very possible for AEW to become a cable/streaming hybrid show, much like how the NBA simulcasts on TNT and Max. That means that Dynamite, for example, would air on both Max and TBS simultaneously. The NFL does this with Monday Night Football on ESPN and ABC as well. So we could possibly get some more information about the programming and the television rights negotiations with AEW very quickly now that WWE is all wrapped up. Now, Finn Balor, we've got an update on Finn Balor because another big WWE contract is set to be up this year. On January 22nd, Wrestling Inc. founder and former owner Raj Giri tweeted, quote, Finn Balor's WWE contract is up after WrestleMania. The word I've gotten is that he hasn't been approached to renew yet. This sent social media into a chatter, as you would expect, but Fightful say that they've confirmed with sources close to Finn Balor that his WWE contract is indeed up this year, but they claim it's not immediately after WrestleMania, instead saying it would be up within a few months of WrestleMania, maybe suggesting that it's not up just after, maybe it's a bit afterwards. As for WWE not reaching out about extending him, that has been the case for numerous wrestlers in WWE whose contracts are up. Of course, he's currently one half of the Undisputed Tag Team Champions and a senior member of the Judgment Day. What do you think when it comes to Balor? Do you think he's going to stay, particularly after all of the exciting news today, or could we see him reunite with people he has worked with in the past, such as the Young Bucks in New Japan Pro Wrestling? Do you think he could go over to AEW? Is that a possibility? Let me know your thoughts and reactions to that in the comment section below. Now, finally, Kevin Patrick is set to be removed from the SmackDown commentary team, and some backstage details have emerged following the news that WWE has removed Kevin Patrick from the SmackDown broadcast team. Patrick joined WWE in March of 2021, first as a backstage interviewer, but since October 2022, he had stints as lead announcer for both Raw and SmackDown. It seems like that has come to an end, and a new report from PW Insider has revealed some details. Per the report, the decision was made by WWE executives last night, January 22nd, and it seemed to be a last-minute decision because Patrick was scheduled to travel to SmackDown this Friday. It said that Patrick is, quote, liked personally in WWE, but there was just a belief that he was not the right person for the role. As of right now, it's unclear whether WWE will retain Patrick in a different role or if this is the end of his time with the company. He's yet to comment on the news. It's also not yet known who's going to replace Patrick or what SmackDown, the commentary team for SmackDown, will be looking like going forward. Previous reports had indicated that management was keen on keeping Michael Cole and Wade Barrett, the current Raw team, together due to their chemistry. Of course, Michael Cole does premium live event broadcasting with Corey Graves, so we'll have to wait and see. Who would you like to see replace Kevin Patrick on commentary? Would you like to see it be someone internally within WWE, or could they bring someone back to the company like a Mauro Ranallo, like a, I don't know, like a Tom Phillips or someone like that? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. But there you go, guys, the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.